Thank you very much. Can people in the back hear me as well? Okay, awesome. So my name is Katrin Hippler. I'm with UPwork. And just to get an understanding, how many of you currently have a profile on either UPwork or any other freelance marketplace? Okay, awesome. So what you can expect from this talk today is to get a background on online freelancing, on the future of work, and more specifically, how can you access global work opportunities while working from anywhere you choose. You can learn how to build and manage your brand. And lastly, I also want to discuss what the future of work has to do with online dating. So let's go back in time to the industrial era. And this is really where people started to move from the farmlands to the factory floors. And it was pretty much the beginning of the traditional 9-to-5 jobs, because those kinds of works really required people to be on site, work in the factories from 9 to 5. Now, fast forward a couple of years, we are now in we're moving into the service sector, and this is pretty much the beginning of the traditional office environment, which was born in the 1950s. And jobs had changed dramatically since the industrial era. It didn't require it still required workers to be on site, and companies were still bounding workers and requiring them to sit in the offices. Even though the jobs had changed dramatically, the only thing they needed was pretty much a computer, a phone, nowadays an internet connection. So this was pretty much a missed opportunity in the 20th century, and only now companies start to realize that it actually gives much more possibilities to people if they are not giving them this inflexibility, but they allow them to work from anywhere they choose and on flexible terms. So what's next in the future of work? The digital era has transformed the way we buy. It has transformed the way we move, the way we live, and it's also transforming the way we work. And this is due to the fact that companies are starting to realize that they can access people from, they're not required to hiring people from within commuting distance, but they can access talents from all across the world by hiring remotely. And talents actually have the possibility to work with clients from all over the world. And this brings me to the first evolution of the future of work. Nowadays, we can carry away our work with our laptops, and everybody that we communicate with is just a Google Hangout or a Skype call away. So work is no longer a physical place, as it used to be during the industrial era. But it's really about where you want to work, and you take your work with you wherever you go. Then hardly any one of us is going to probably work for one and the same employer for the whole of their professional career. So the mindset is changing to thinking about income security versus job security. So it's more about thinking about what kind of varying income streams can I create for myself versus relying on a single employer or a single job. So what is really important to ask yourself is, what kind of skills do I need, and how do I keep them brushed up, versus what kind of role am I going to have for the next 20 years. And the next thing is the rise of hybrid teams. This is a new business form that has been growing in the last couple of years, and it's really consisting of an on-site team that is working from the office, and this team is complemented by workers that are residing online, remotely all across the world. So freelancer marketplaces or talent platforms, whatever you would like to call it, they've gained traction over the last couple of years, with companies and talents realizing about the opportunities that there are. And what is even more interesting to see is that not only startups, who are usually at the forefront of innovation, they are trying themselves out with different models and setups, are adopting this model, but also larger enterprises are tapping into this. At UPwork, those are companies such as Samsung, Procter & Gamble, Dropbox, Airbnb, etc. And it's no wonder they're tapping into this. On Upwork, we currently have freelancers who are listing over 3,500 skills on their profiles. And it's really about all kinds of different jobs, all kinds of different skills that they list. It's ranging from web, mobile, and software development. There's marketeers, there is graphic designers, there's sales representatives, but it's also more niche skills. We started to create a report on a quarterly basis to identify the top fastest growing skills. And in the first half of 2017, these were skills such as virtual reality, it was natural language processing, it was learning management systems. So how does an online freelancer marketplace work from a freelancer perspective? The 4 steps are quite straightforward. So the first step is you sign up on the platform, whichever that is, and you are creating your profile, which is basically your online CV. And then you go in and search for jobs that are matching your skill set. Once you have found those jobs, then you start to bid for them. You write proposals to clients. The client reviews the proposals and is deciding which freelance they would like to work with. They are sending them an offer. Once you accept, then this is really when the job becomes active and the collaboration starts. And then the last step is once the work product is finished, you send that over to the client. The client is then releasing the payment to you. So far, so good. It all sounds really good in theory, but how does it actually work in practice? Some of you might have experienced this themselves, getting started at an online marketplace. And it can be quite frustrating, especially when you are a seasoned professional, to get started from scratch. Because when you create your profile, then you can't really showcase the work that you've done on platform with previous clients, so you don't have any feedback or ratings, which other freelancers who have started earlier have already. It can also happen that you feel online freelancing is lonely, and especially for those of you who are digital nomads, you might know this feeling. There might not always be such a great infrastructure about co-working and co-living as you have, for example, here in Gran Canaria. So it can be quite a lonely business. Do you see any kind of similarities? Is your list of skills up to date? Is your brand consistent across all channels? Then are you on top on the trends that are happening in your industry? Have you asked for feedback after your last job, which is really helping you to build your reputation on the site? And have you maybe Googled yourself recently, and what does come up? Then when it comes to really starting to search for the jobs, a few things that you should keep in mind is really, again, talking about the skill set. Only look for the jobs that are in your specific skill category and only apply for those. Then choose what kind of projects are the best fit. Would you rather like to work on fixed price or hourly jobs? Fixed price are usually more project-based work, whereas hourly jobs are more long-term, usually more long-term work. And then think about what kind of availability do you have? What project duration is the best for you, and also when you look at it on a weekly basis, how many hours can you dedicate? Then again, quick checklist. If you have a job in front of you that might be a good fit, go through this checklist to see whether it's really a good fit. Do I have the right skills and interests, and am I able to showcase that to the client? Do I have time for the scope of the project? So what about your availability? Am I happy with the rate that is offered? And also make sure to vet the client. Is he a good fit to your expectations? So just a quick recap, and if there's 2 things that I'd like you to take away from this presentation today, then I think it would be those 2. Stand out from the crowd. So really think about what is the key skill that I have, and focus and specialize on this one. Don't try to be a rockstar programmer and a social media manager and a graphic designer at the same time. It will be much easier for you to build your brand and manage your brand if you focus on one specific skill set. And again, look at it from the client's perspective. Maybe even try Upwork or any other platform. Try it as a client to see how would you as a client search for freelancers that you would like to work with. How would you evaluate profiles? And as you do this, incorporate this into building your own profile. And secondly, find your date. Show persistence in your approach to find the right date. Find the right jobs for your skill set. Put your feelers out, what clients are looking for. Customize your approach towards every client and every job that you send a proposal for, and make sure to vet your client so that he's also a good match for what you're looking for. And now, good luck with finding your date, and if there's any questions, I am happy to talk about them now. Can you tell about trends in jobs and projects? Where do you see a lot of growth? So we issue a quarterly skills index, which you can also see on the website. So I don't have all the 20 skills memorized, but what I remember from the last one that we have issued in the first half of 2017 was really the top 5 was virtual reality, it was econometrics, whatever that is. It was learning management systems. It was, I can follow up on this one. But if you go onto the website, into the press section, you will find a whole list of the top fastest growing skills. Can companies also find freelancers? Yes, certainly. So this is really the way this model works. Companies are registering themselves, and the reason why they do this is they would like to find talent. So they register the same way as a freelancer would do, and then they start looking for freelancers. They also have the possibility, besides posting a job, they have a possibility to search for freelancers, obviously. This is why I was referencing that. So make sure to, and I showed a statistic which I hadn't mentioned, but actually 37% of the jobs on Upwork are being awarded to freelancers on a invite-only basis. So clients are not posting the job publicly, but they post it privately, and then they are inviting freelancers to apply. So it's really important, coming back to the whole of building and managing your brand, making your profile attractive and outstanding for the clients. If you never freelanced before, how do you compete with expert freelancers for your first job? That's a really good question. And what I wanted to do in my talk today is really focus on this aspect as well, to give you some tools on hand, what you can do in order to compete with people that already have a track record. One thing to do, and what you have to realize also, is that maybe for the first job you will not be able to charge the rate that you would usually charge, because you're really in the process of building out your reputation. So you might need to go lower in your rate, and then really make sure to build out this really stunning profile to make clients excited about you, and spend a lot of time crafting the proposal, because this is really what clients are looking at, and showing them how you can add value. What makes Upwork different from the other remote platforms? Good question. So we've heard Erin talk about TopTel earlier today, or just before my talk, and there's obviously a lot of platforms that are out there. Some of them are very niche skills focused. So there's a couple of platforms that only connect companies with graphic designers, for example. So you have these verticals. You also have platforms that are focusing on geographic regions. So there's, for example, a company that is connecting, let's say, German clients with German freelancers. The way Upwork is positioning himself is that we're a global platform, so we are connecting global freelancers with global clients, and making it possible to access freelancers and clients from all over the world. Should I lower the rate than normal to get first job when I'm just starting? Yeah, this is pretty much what I mentioned before. So for the first job, it's usually so that you have to lower your rate in order to really start building up your profile. So maybe start off with smaller projects to really gather this work history, and then once you build your reputation, you get feedback from clients, then you can adjust your rate, and you should. Awesome. Thank you so much.